Come and fly away with me. Come and fly away with me. Come and fly away with me.
Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I ain't gonna lie y'all, I'm cold. I'm about to put on my robe. I'm excited. Not excited about the story time that I'm about to give you guys, but I'm excited that I'm here to give you guys another story time. I've been reading my comments. Thank you for everyone who's been subscribing, and you guys have been requesting more and more story time. So I have other content loading, but I was like, let me drop a story time and get that back in the algorithm, right? So I got the red hair going on. I just came back from Gag City. I went to go see Nicki Minaj. That vlog is going to be up soon as well. And don't mind my nails, you guys. I got like 7 missing nails or something like that. No, I actually got like 3 missing nails. I actually have them somewhere over here, and one of them fell in the toilet and I had to flush it down. But these are press-ons. I used to get my nails long like this when I had acrylic, but they mess up your nail beds, and being a designer and just working all the time it's not a good idea for me to get acrylic nails. So I got these press-ons on Etsy. I'll drop a picture of them. They're definitely going to be highlighted in the Gag City vlog, but they were like what, 30 bucks, and then shipping was like $10, and I had them on for like 2 weeks now. So they actually came longer than this, and I trimmed them down. So imagine if I had them longer. But anyways, let's get back to the story time. So you guys, according to the title, as you can see, this story time is a weird, it's not like a real positive story time. It's not a positive experience for me. And even though I'm gonna have a little few like kikis and laugh with you guys during this story time, just know that when I was going through this situation, it was a horrible experience. I would never wish that on anybody, any woman especially. And I think that what happened to me actually molded me for the better and the worse in my like growing years, and you guys will understand more when the story's like finished. But I just want to put a disclaimer out there that this type of stuff is not okay, and if you're somebody who's going through something like this and you don't really know how to speak to anyone about it or get some help with it, DM me on my Instagram or send me an email. I'm gonna drop the info here and we can talk about it, because I already know how hard it is. So I want to be here for you guys, because I didn't really have people here for me. And I used to come to YouTube and, you know, just type in like on Google and YouTube like, how do you deal with this, that, and the third, and just read general public opinions on a situation that I'm dealing with internally and actually need people to speak to. That's why therapy is very vital. So now that I put that disclaimer out there, I do not have any sponsorships to promote. So without further ado, the story starts off like this. And every time I say the story starts off like this, you already know the story is gonna be what? It's gonna be juicy, okay? So I'm gonna start giving names off right off the back, because we just cut into the chase right now. Like, I'm just finna give names right off the back, okay? I'm giving to y'all real motherfucking dry right now, like not even wet, like real dry right now. So I'm 30 right now. I'm 30 years old and I don't have a best friend. And this story is part of the reason why I don't hold best friends. Every best friend I ever had has violated me in some type of way, and 9 times out of 10 I've violated them right back, because I used to be a very vengeful person. I'm trying to get out of that. I have worked on getting out of that, but I'm a work in progress. But I definitely understand that vengeance is in the Lord's hand. Vengeance is not ours, it's God's. You know what I'm saying? It's Yeshua's. So this specific best friend, she actually did not get violated by me, and she never like kind of reacted in the way I should have reacted to what happened. And you guys will understand more when the story is finished, right? So when I was in high school, there was a group of us who were friends, and there was one girl specifically, I'm gonna call her Goldie, Okay, I'm gonna call her Goldie because my brother actually, my older brother, he calls her that. When we was in high school, she had very beautiful hair, and she would just do all these colors and stuff like that, but the color that she would do the most was gold, and she used to have like a mushroom cut gold hair. I don't even want to give out too much details because I know I have people watching this that are just real enough. So, but Goldie, yes, Goldie is gonna be her name, right? So Goldie was became my bestest friend in high school at one point, especially going towards our senior year, right? I should have known that Goldie ain't fuck with me like that. She wasn't really jacking me like that, because one time when we were sophomores, there was this big fight outside of the school, and I was in the school that day. I forgot why I was in school. I didn't even know the fight was gonna happen, but I went to school in Brooklyn. It was a ghetto school. I went to high school, and we literally had to use metal detectors to go in through school, like stand online every day, use metal detectors, cops on the train, cops outside, all this stuff. So fights were just something that just was an anomaly. Like, it happened all the time, you know what I mean? Am I using that word right? I should Google that. But anyways, I didn't know the fight was gonna happen, but the fight ended up happening. Long story short, Goldie ended up getting jumped by a girl that, honestly, she didn't like me. I didn't know she didn't like Goldie either, but she didn't like me. But the girl was never like, I knew she didn't like me through word of mouth, but she never has like stuck to me or talked about me. So when I got back to school, like the next day or whatever, and I found out what happened, Goldie was in school, everybody else told me, and she kind of felt like I took the day off because I knew the fight was gonna happen, which I thought was like the stupidest thing ever, because it's like, how the hell am I gonna predict a fight with somebody that I don't even talk to? And then like where the fight happened, it wasn't even on school grounds, it was at the park like 6 blocks down from the school. Like, what are you guys even doing at the park? Like, that's what happens when y'all don't go home. Like, if you want to fight, cool, go, you know what I'm saying? Like, whenever I wanted to fight, I went after the attack or whatever. But if you don't want to fight and you don't want to put yourself in a situation to get jumped after school was done, go home. The train station was literally connected to our school, was on the same street. So how you ended up 5 blocks, 6 blocks this way to get into some big fight, not my problem, not my business. And I didn't understand like why she was blaming me for that, but we kind of like stayed cool. And but I say that to say that she probably, remember, people hold things, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'm a Capricorn. If I feel away, I ain't fucking with you, you know what I'm saying? Or I'm gonna tell you how I feel, you're gonna try to work it out. But there are some people who, they'll hold on to things that they feel like you've done to them, or hold resentment. They'll still fuck with you, but then they'll always have that in the back of their head, so they won't ever really with you, you get what I'm saying? So I felt like from that point on, she never really fucked with me, you know what I mean? So during our senior year, all in all, we still became friends. During our senior year, Goldie, she had an interesting taste in men, and I'm not sure if it's because I think she's adopted. The reason why I say I think is because it was a sensitive topic. I knew she didn't live with her parents, and I didn't want to kind of like, you know, like always like intrude, because, you know, people are very sensitive about stuff like that, right? So she was adopted or something like that, but she had very poor interest in men. And I hate to say that because I also have had poor interest in men, and I think it is a trauma response. But Goldie used to date, like, when we were in high school, we were like 15, 16, and she was dating like 40-year-olds and stuff like that, like getting pregnant for them and stuff like that, etc. But it was weird. Like, when I was that young, I wasn't making that many poor choices in men. Like, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't even making choices in men, period. Like, but nevertheless, I never really liked her choice in men. And I used to always, like, you know, like, I remember that 40-year-old boyfriend ended up being a stalker, and I had warned her to the point where she ended up having to get a police restraining order. He broke the window of her house, all this different type of stuff. But my intuition is there, you know what I'm saying? So nevertheless, there's a school that's like maybe like 2-3 blocks away from my high school, and there's these guys that go to school. Goldie used to go to after school there, etc. I never used to go. I didn't know these guys, but she and our other friends did. She ultimately, after leaving the 40-year-old, she ended up dating a high school guy, which I thought was a good decision for her, because I felt like you should date somebody within your age range. And apparently they knew each other from back in Jamaica or whatever, because Goldie was from Jamaica. Like, I think she came to the US when she, like, her first year of high school. So I guess this boy she knew from back then or whatever. So all in all, they ended up, after high school, they ended up getting married. He went to the Navy, Army. You know, when people kind of recruit themselves from high school to the Navy, it's really a good situation to get married because you get more benefits that way. And then he also needed his citizenship, and I think she had just gotten hers and was able to give him. It was a whole lot of stuff. I don't even want to put all their business out, but anyways, that's the backstory of them. Her husband now, that's her husband. We're out of high school. She's married. They moved to North Carolina. That's her husband now. And Goldie ends up having a baby. She makes me the godmother of the baby. Her husband, we're going to give him a name. Dutty D. Yes, we're going to call him Dutty D. Okay? And you're going to know why I call him Dutty D. Dutty D-I-C-K. Stinky D-I-C-K. Let's call him... Wasteman. That's gonna be his nickname, Wasteman, right? So Wasteman and Goldie, they're married. They have a kid. I'm the godmother, right? Me and Wasteman relationship, we never really had one. He was my best friend's boyfriend turned husband. I never had too many interactions with him, but being that I was the godmother, I began to have more interactions with them as a family. After they moved to North Carolina, Goldie actually invited me over to, I'm skipping a whole part, y'all. Before we moved to North Carolina, Goldie was living with Wasteman, right? Her and Wasteman living together, whatever the case may be. Y'all, I'm cold. I'm about to put on my robe. Goldie and Wasteman are living together, and Wasteman ended up introducing me to his brother. His stepbrother, half brother, whatever. We start kind of kicking it, dating, etc. Nothing crazy, right? So me and the brother had stopped talking, stopped dating, whatever we were doing, because I ended up finding out he was talking to a lot of girls, and I wasn't really into that. So, and he didn't really even live in New York City. He just used to come and visit. So I didn't really care to like keep that going. So now, after they move out of their parents, where do they live in? Yeah. After they move out of Wasteman's parents' house, they moved to North Carolina when he got initiated into the Army. They get married. Baby's born, my godson. So Goldie calls me and she's like, hey, you know, I'm up here in NC. I'm by myself. You know, I'm playing this house mom stuff, and I'm having a lot of issues with Wasteman. Wasteman is cheating. I've put surveillance camera in the house. He brings girls into the house from the Army base that he then introduced me to, and I'm watching them having having intercourse in my bed. All this stuff, like, she's going through it. And to top it all off, Goldie is pregnant, right? So she's literally having, like, what they call them, brothers and sisters, or babies that are like literally less than a year apart, kind of like that, right? So I'm like, girl, how far along are you? She's like 4 months going on 5, whatever. She's stressed out. She really needs help with my godson. At the time, I was just taking break from college, because I think I was in my first semester of college at FIT, and I was going on break. So I was like, okay, you know, I'll come down there, I'll fly out there, and I'll come help you out, but you need to leave this man, because that wasn't the first time she was going through a lot of cheating stuff with him. What was so weird about it is because I think they had an open relationship, but not really. It was open to the point where they would have like orgies and sexual interactions with multiple people, but he had the freedom to go outside and bring people in and do what he wanted, and that's woman based. She didn't have that freedom. Like, that didn't include her bringing a guy in the equation or whatever. It didn't include any of that. It just included him picking girls, deciding whatever. But I guess what she wasn't jacking was the fact that he was doing it outside of her. But you got to think about it, y'all. You give a man an inch, sometimes he's gonna take a yard. So if you're showing that you're comfortable dealing with a female while you're in the vicinity, what makes you think he's not gonna do it when you're not? You gotta really have that connection and that trust with somebody before you decide to step out and do things like that, because stuff like this happens, right? Especially with Wasteman. Like, Wasteman was this type of guy. I didn't even describe him. Wasteman had pimples all over his face. Let's start there. Wasteman had pimples all over his face. He had a nasty Jamaican accent, like straight yardie, like just stretching it. Like, you know when people have the accent, but they're just like, you're in America, so you want to show people that you're really Jamaican, so you're like really yeah-manning it. Like, he was really yeah-manning it, like, all the time. Like, and I went to Jamaica. People in Jamaica don't even talk like he talked. Like, so I was just confused. So, but nevertheless, he was just icky, like, and he just thought that he was so fresh and so fly. And you know when men get into the army and the navy, they start getting this little money, so they start smelling themselves, feeling themselves. And he used to mistreat my best friend. He used to mistreat Goldie. And it was, sometimes I felt bad for her, but sometimes I'm just like, girl, just leave. But then she used to always say, like, who's gonna want me? I got a kid, I got one going on the way, my stomach is messed up, because her first pregnancy, you know, like, it's a part of motherhood. Like, I'm not a mother yet, even though Latte's my baby boy. He's actually sleeping right here. He's been stalking me all day. But I do understand that when I do decide to give birth, I might, most likely 9 times out of 10, because I have stretchy skin, not have the best afterbirth body. And that's gonna be okay. That's why I plan to, you know, start a family with a man who can accept me and love me for who I am, because not just how I look now, but how I will look and all these things, like, you know what I'm saying? So she used to just always feel like the way her body is, mind you, Goldie was gorgeous. Goldie was stunning. She's beautiful. Like, she's literally like top-notch gorgeous. Like, I don't even know how to explain how pretty she is. She's gorgeous. So I just felt like she could always do better, and that's why I always felt like she had poor choice in men, because, like, girl, you're stunning, why are you putting up with stuff like this? So what happened next, right? So yeah, so I get down to North Carolina. She shows me the video, she's giving me all the tea, whatever. So I'm like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? She's like, I don't know, what am I supposed to do? I gotta stay in this, or whatever the case may be. I gotta figure it out, because remember, she's adopted, and now she got kids. She don't really have family to take kids and go somewhere with, you know what I'm saying? Like, her situation wasn't set up like that, and I had to understand and respect that, you know what I'm saying? So I was just like, listen, I'll stay here the month with you, I'll help you with the baby, and you just need to stay calm so you can have a good pregnancy, whatever. So all in all, Wasteman, you know what I'm saying, he acting real nice to me, like overly nice, extra nice. This is the first time I've ever been around him in like an intimate setting. Like, I was never around him like in his house or whatever. Before that it was only like public settings or whatever, but this time I was in their house. But they had a big house, so I had a guest room, I had my own bathroom and everything. Wasteman was being really nice to me the first couple of days of the trip, right? During the night times when I would fall asleep the first couple of nights, I would hear them like arguing and stuff like that, going back and forth. But I would try to mind my business, and the next morning I would try to see if my friend is okay. And she never wasn't. She was just stressing about this man cheating, right? And he was out loud cheating. He didn't care. Like, he was cheating all up and down her face, bringing the girls he's cheating with in the house. Like, he had no respect for her. So this is where the drama starts, right? One day, probably like what, 3-4 days into the trip, maybe 5, less than a week though, we're sitting on a couch in the living room. It's me, the baby, and Goldie. Goldie starts to talk about, like, you know, how she thought that by giving waste man threesomes and stuff like that, he wouldn't cheat, but he still is. And I was like, you know, men will be men, girl, especially that one. She's like, well, he did give me a proposition. Y'all heard that, right? A proposition. Yeah. Because I know y'all probably like, where's the juice of this story? It's coming. You know, I said I was going to give it to y'all dry, but no, I'm going to give it to y'all wet, right? So I'm like, all right, give me the proposition or whatever the case may be. I was like, what proposition? I was like, girl, like, you should just go. Like, he shouldn't even be proposing anything. Like, if it's not like, he already proposed, right? You got a wedding ring. What else is he proposing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why is he trying to give you ultimatums that benefit him? So I'm like, what is the proposal? She's like, oh, he said that if you join us in a menage a trois, then he's gonna stop cheating on me. Y'all know when I start and the double chin start, that means I'm flabbergasted. Like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Like that's the type of conversations y'all having? Like, who brought this conversation up? What weirded me out about this was that it's extremely uncomfortable. Remember, I told y'all in my last video, the video when I talked about the girl pulling up on me and the guy at the restaurant, whatever. I told y'all, like, when I was younger, I wasn't really dating like that, so I didn't really know when people, like men, was watching me, was into me and stuff like that. I didn't know. I was always oblivious. So to know that my best friend's husband was looking at me in that way made me want to throw up. Not only because I was nowhere near attracted to him, just because it was just, ew, what? Like, I just didn't understand. Like, I didn't understand why she was okay with that, why I was brought up, where this was. And now it made me start to question everything. Because remember I told you he was being extra nice to me. Like, he let me drive. He had just bought like a Range Rover or something. He let me drive it. We went to the mall. He was taking us out to dinner, like all this stuff. And I'm like, was he like grooming me? That's what it's called, right? It's called grooming, right? When men kind of like do certain things. But even though he's not older, he was our age range, it's still considered grooming, right? But yeah, I felt like he was, when I figured that out, I felt like he was grooming me. Because I'm just like, oh, it makes sense. Because Waste Mom was also this type of guy where he didn't want Goldie to be around her friends. He felt like her friends were bad influences, including me, towards her or whatever, according to what she would say when she talked to us in our group chats. So I already know he didn't really jack her having friends. So when he was being overly nice to me, I just thought he had a change of heart, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't really care for him, whether he was nice for me or not. I was here for my friend. So I was just like, no. I was like, girl, that's stupid. I was like, first of all, he's lying. He's not gonna stop. He's never gonna stop. This guy has no shame. He's actually in your bed with other women. Like, second, why would you want to involve me in something that I am against? I don't love the situation you're in. I don't like the situation you're in, but I have to accept it because this is your life. But in no way, shape, or form will I involve myself in the situation that you're in. And guys, to put the cherry on top of the situation, he kept giving her STDs and different kinds over the course of like the beginning of her pregnancy. She contracted 2 different type of STDs, fortunately, that were curable and she got them handled. But the fact that he's even bringing back stuff to you and you're with child is absolutely insane. That is ground for me to commit a crime against a man. Do you understand that? Situations like that I cannot stay in, because I will lose my freedom behind that this type of disrespect and disregard. Do you hear me? Granted, I've been in my own situations where women probably would say the same, like, girl, you're bugged out. So because I understand what love can do to you, and then not only that, not only was it love, but I felt like it was a necessity for her to have a husband in her life to help her, like, with her kids, her life, and everything. She really didn't have, like, a close-knit family member. I said she was adopted or whatever. So I had to understand that viewpoint. So I just nipped that thing in the bud. I was like, nah. Hell nah. Absolutely not. No. So she said, okay. She said, okay. I thought that would have been the end of the conversation, right? Conversation did not end there, right? So that was the end of the conversation right then and there. I thought she wouldn't have the audacity to ever bring it up, right? So later on that night, I go to bed in the guest room. I'm a person, I always lock my room door. I always lock my room door. Whether I'm at home, and wherever I'm at, I lock my doors. So I go to bed, lock the room door. Wasteman's not home yet, right? But I hear when he comes in, because he comes in drunk. I could tell he's drunk, he's singing, he's making noise, doing a whole bunch of nonsense, right? So now I hear a lot of whispering, like Wasteman and Goldie just like whispering. Like my guest room was like here, and then their master bedroom was like down the hall. But because the house was so quiet and I was so quiet, I was acting like I was sleeping, but I was being nosy. I could hear like, shut up, you mad loud. Like I heard all that, like, you know what I'm saying? So y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for the tea? Lo and behold, maybe like a few minutes go by, right? I start hearing a knock on my door, like ka ka ka. I don't say nothing because I'm like, I don't want them to think I was listening to their business, so I'm gonna just act like I'm knocked out, whatever. I hear the knock again. I'm ignoring. Then I start hearing the knob shuffling. I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on out there? Like, y'all need to get in. So now I'm like, I need to say something because niggas is obviously trying to get in the door. So I'm like, hey, what's up? Something along the lines of that, whatever. Like, or, hey, like, what you need? Like, I didn't open the door or anything. I'm just shouting from the bed. I hear Wasteman start to talk, and then I hear Goldie shut him up. He didn't get to really say what he was gonna say, and then Goldie was like, "Oh, it's me. Open the door." So I'm like, "Oh, what you need? You good?" And she was like, "Oh no, just open the door and just show you something, right?" So now I open the door, but I kind of like slowly open it to crack it, whatever. Why in the hell Wasteman burst into the guest room? Butt ass naked, like he was born straight out his mama's vagina. No shirt, no drawers, no shoes, no socks, reeking of alcohol and body odor. The stench was immaculate. It was immaculate in the worst way. It was overwhelming as a fuck. I'm like, oh hell no, I know this man is. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? So I'm like, so I start, like, what are you doing? Like, what the fuck? She's like, come on, Sarah, like, remember what I asked you? Like, come on, it's gonna be quick, it's not that serious. Mind you, y'all remember Goldie is like 5 months pregnant at this point. Like, while this is happening, Goldie is like 5 months pregnant. So I started wilding, like, nah, like, I started going crazy. Like, what are you doing? Not jacking this. Y'all are bugging, blah, blah, blah. Like, y'all take this swingers thing somewhere else. And that's why I just didn't understand. Like, I just feel like it's okay to like what you like. Like whatever you want to like. You know what I'm saying? If you want to like swinging and orgies and threesomes and all those things, that's cool. Like that. But you can't force people into liking the things that you like. You can't force your desires, your wants, and your needs onto people. You cannot do that. You just can't do that. I need some lip gloss. I love using the big lip gloss Juicy Darla from the Beauty Supply style. I like it. I like the color pink, and I just got into using the red one, but the pink one smells really good. But yeah, I'm like, nah, you can't do that. You get what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like the world would be a better place if people would just try to interact and do things with like-minded people, accept no for an answer, not force people out of their free will. All those things, like, combined would make the world a better place. So here comes Wasteman like, oh, stop fronting, you know you want this D, you know you want this D. Like, no, negative sir, like, I don't, ew, negative. Like, I was honestly disgusted. Like, more than anything, I felt disrespected, of course, but I was disgusted as E motherfucker. Like, I was disgusted. So I'm like, no. So I start getting mad. So I start screaming, like, get out the room, get out the room. He's like, this is my house. This is my house. What do you mean get out the room? I can be in whatever room I want to be. I'm like, all right, I'll leave. I don't care. Like, I'll leave. Here, here's Goldie like, no, don't leave. So now I'm getting dressed. At that point, I had pajamas. I always sleep with pajamas on. I love pajama. Good thing I'm not a person who sleeps naked. Okay, like, imagine. So I started, like, gathering my stuff, whatever. Guess what Wasteman's gonna say? Yo, Goldie, grab her legs, bro. Grab her legs, bro. Did this just turn into an assault? This just turned into an assault? Because it's looking like this is turning into an assault, an essay. You guys know what essay is, right? It's what it, and that's the thing, like, I hate that I was so ignorant growing up, because remember, I was like 19. I didn't know what that was. Like, I knew to a certain extent it was wrong, and it's like rape and stuff like that, but it was SA. It started being SA for a very long time before he even, like, told her that it was SA. You get what I'm saying? So I told her, I was like, girl, you're 5 months pregnant. If you touch me, I will have no choice but to defend myself, and I might hurt you in the area of your belly. Please, I would hate to kick you in your stomach and make you lose your child, bro. Please do not put your hands on me. Please do not come nowhere near me. She's all begging and pleading. Now I start seeing tears coming down her eyes. Like, she's really getting emotional, because I feel like she really was counting on this to save her marriage, which was so appalling to me. Everything about this situation was completely absurd. And I know you guys see me calm right now, and it's because I can finally talk about this. I'm finally at a point where I can discuss this. Like, I've built that bridge and I've gotten past it. You know what I'm saying? I haven't gotten over it, but I've gotten past it. And then things end up happening in the future tense that made me, like, open my eyes even more. But we'll get to that, right? I'm trying not to make this too long, but I feel like it's probably going to be maybe about 45 minutes, 50-minute long story time. So whoever wants to stay to the end for the other juicy part, stay. But you guys know how I like to give y'all a good, nice little story time with some background to it, so y'all can really understand where I'm coming from, where the people were coming from, all this different stuff. Sometimes you get story times and I be like, damn, I wish I knew the background on the person's relationship with that person and not just the story, so I can kind of see how it correlates. So that's what I be trying to do for y'all, right? So now she's like crying and stuff. She's getting emotional. I run downstairs and I run straight to the kitchen. I get me a knife. I'm diabolical, y'all. I am unhinged. Whenever I'm in a position of self-preservation, I am completely and utterly unhinged, which is something I'm working on. But as soon as I feel like it's me or you, I have to choose me, and by all means necessary. So I go down, call Nyc. So I pick up my phone. The first thing I should have called was 911, right? But I didn't think that. I called our mutual friend on FaceTime. And she was a part of our group chat. Like, she was like one of the besties. But me and Goldie was closer, right? So I'm like, hey. I'm not even going to give her a name. But I have some story times about her too. But I'm not going to give her a name right now. I don't want to focus on her. So I'm like, hey, look what's going on. I start showing her. Here's now Goldie and Wasteman's coming down the stairs. Wasteman is still bucket naked, like coming down the stairs. So our friend on the phone is like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on? Like, she thinking it's a joke. She thinking that we all like in the house having fun and we trying to call her to show her whatever. I'm like, nah, girl. Like, this thing is serious. Like, they wilding right now. They really disrespecting me. I don't know what to do. I need to get out of here. I need to leave. I'm just might call the cops. Like, I got a knife, all this stuff like that. Now, this is where, like, y'all gonna be mad at me, right? So, Goldie's crying, like, no, please, put the phone down. Like, all right, we're gonna leave you alone. Like, please, my family. Like, we're on an army base. If you call the cops, like, he's gonna lose this, he's gonna lose that. Whole time, Wasteman on the other corner, like, you hoe, you motherfucking whore. You think I don't know who you done dealt with? You think I don't know? I know everything about y'all motherfucking whores. What y'all be doing in these group chats. Y'all be talking. I know everything. I know y'all be with this and that one on the phone be doing that and this. Like, he was really trying to tell me about myself. Like, he was basically trying to tell me, like, girl, this is how I think of you. This is what I feel about you. And you have nerve to try to reject somebody like me. Like, you know who I am, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's what he was saying to me. Whole time, Goldie trying to get him to, like, shut up and calm down so he don't make the situation worse. I'm like, you know what, Goldie? Because of these kids, bro, I'm going to pack my stuff up and I'm going to leave. And if you or your husband say anything to me, I'm gonna start slicing and dicing and I'm calling the cops right after. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, please move out my way. I kept my friend on the phone. I'm crying to her. I'm very emotional at this point because I didn't know what to do. You gotta remember, I'm not even home. I'm in North Carolina. It's my first time even going over there. North Carolina is not even a pro race diversity state. You get what I'm saying? About a whole bunch of rednecks, white folks and stuff like that. I'm in a messed up position. I don't have any family and friends out here with me. I'm technically by myself. And then I bought a ticket that was gonna make me come back for a month later. So now I had to go buy a new ticket, figure all that out, but I didn't care. I was like, I need to get out this house ASAP. Like, I need to bounce. So I got dressed, got all my stuff. Goldie was telling me, oh, you don't have to leave, you can stay. I'm like, nah, girl, I'm out of here. I was like, if you want, leave with me. I was like, come with me right now. I'll forgive you. Pack you a bag, pack the kid's bag. I told her I would even buy her flight and the kid flight, and let's go. Like, let's get out of here. Like, you don't need to be like, this is crazy. She didn't want to leave. She didn't want to leave, y'all. So I got my little self out of that house and I took a cab to the airport. I definitely took a cab to the airport. I took a cab to the airport and I spent like that night into the next afternoon in the airport until I could get me a flight, because at that point it was either I buy a new flight or I went on standby with my old ticket, and I was on standby and I didn't get on a flight until like later on the next afternoon. My luggage already was in New York like that morning and everything, because you know standby, they'll send your luggage the first flight out, but you gotta wait for a seat. All in all, when that happened, me and Goldie did not talk. She tried to reach out a few times and I kind of like rejected it, and we didn't talk for some years. Our mutual friend Fake ass. She was a fake ass bitch too. She kind of at some points tried to get us to talk, but what I didn't like about her was I had called her for support that night, and I felt like she took it serious a little, but not as much. She felt like I was overreacting with how I felt about it, and I just felt like, girl, it's because it wasn't you. Let you be the one violated, it'll be a whole different story. And that's what I hate about people perceiving me in such a sexual manner, because like the way I dress or do my hair and stuff like that. I hate it because I'm not promiscuous. I actually don't even like I'm not as, I'm way less sexual than I want to be. I want to be way more sexual than I actually am right now. I want to learn a lot of different sexual stuff, be more open, risk-taking and all that stuff, but I'm just not there yet, mentally or physically, comfortably, whatever. So because I have such sex appeal, I have natural sex appeal. Like, I'm not even tooting my own horn, but I do have just natural sex appeal. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people just automatically just place the idea of like that around me and feel like I should be okay with any type of like sexual approach or whatever the case may be. And that's not fair, because there are women walking out here in turtlenecks, going to church, Christian, Baptist, and in the back of the church doing Lord knows what, giving slappy tappy, all them type of things. You know what I'm saying? So I hated that. So a few years go by. I think me and Goldie didn't talk for like 4 or 5 years, and it broke my heart because remember, I had, her son was my godson, and then I didn't get to meet the new baby. You get what I'm saying? So I had missed out on a lot as far as like my best friend and all that stuff, and vice versa. She had missed out on a lot of my life too, but I felt like, I'm sorry y'all, it's late right now. I gotta work in the morning. What time is it? It's already 12. I felt like you were supposed to be like more accountable. I felt like Goldie wasn't accountable. I felt like after that night was over, she kind of apologized, but it was just kind of like, I'm still with my husband, so what, you experienced that, it is what it is, build a bridge, get over it. And I felt like had I called the cops that night, would y'all still have that same energy? Y'all would be a lot more apologetic. Wasteman has never apologized to me about what he did. His nasty, dirty self. Like, I wish I had a scratch and sniff, because I can still recall, I can still remember the smell of this man when he walked into my room. Like, he smelled like alcohol, beer, and just straight BO, straight body odor, straight must, straight just feet funk, like. And that's why, and this is that Goldie used to always complain about getting like yeast infections and BV and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, all girls get it. I actually get reoccurring BV. My vagina is extremely sensitive, so I would never, like, unprotected sex is really not something I do. And then I would have to be in a relationship, and the person I'm in a relationship with has to be very clean, because it can unbalance my pH that quick, that easy. So she used to always have those problems, and I'm just like thinking about it like, girl, you're having unprotected sex with your husband, who's having unprotected sex with other women, and he has bad hygiene. He's tearing your body apart. Like, he's literally like destroying your body, and you don't even understand that. So a few years go by. Boom. A mutual friend is, and the one I had called, she ended up having, like, she gets pregnant, she's about to have a baby, whatever. So I go to the baby shower, Goldie's at the baby shower, we end up rekindling. I was hesitant, but because this was my best friend, and I felt like she was kind of like the first person, not the first person, but she was one of the main people where I felt so hurt by her. But it was not an angry hurt. It was a sad hurt because I felt like, damn, what is my friend like going through, or what is she missing, or what is she suffering from, that not only is she enduring this, but she would allow her husband to even pressure her into doing something like this, losing her best friend, and just a whole bunch of things. Remember, she was already stressed, so I can only imagine how much more stressed she was after this happened. You get what I'm saying? But then she also needs to be accountable as an adult, and that's why I regret feeling bad for her, because of what she ended up doing. Fast forward to present day, right? So this is the final home stretch of the story. Y'all, I rekindled with her. We cool, whatever. We start going out, hanging out, whatever. I remember she told me one time, me and her was going out to dinner, and she never used to bring up what happened with Waistline. But she would always bring up little stuff like, oh, Waistline always asks about you. And do you know one time me and Waistline was arguing, and he was like, oh, you're jealous of Sarah. You're jealous because of her body, and you're jealous of how she looks and how she do her hair. And I'm like, he said that to you? And she was like, yeah, he used to always like bring me up in arguments and tell her that she's jealous of me and stuff. And I thought that was so dangerous. That was so fucking dangerous. Because why as a man would you do that to your wife? Second, I'm her best friend. She can unintentionally build animosity and hatred for me just off of him doing that, and it would have nothing to do with me or anything I've done to her personally. You get what I'm saying? My biggest concern was, why is Waistman so like so concerned with me? Like, he didn't like me, he didn't like her hanging out with me, he's pinning her against me. Just a lot of weird stuff. Bashing me, calling me all type of names and judging me, and just all, he was just too concerned with me. And I just felt like I never gave him enough energy for him to be this motherfucking concerned. And even when they used to have like family gatherings, you know when you know you're being spoken about before you walk into somewhere? That's why I never used to like to go to anything I was invited to. Like when they used to have like the baptism parties and all this stuff for the baby, because every time I would walk in to whatever the event or the house, whatever, with his side of the family, it's like everyone's just watching me, everyone's asking me questions, everyone's whispering about me. Just, I can just feel the like intensity. And then my friend will always be like, yeah, you know, they just think that because, you know, you design and you're so creative and you know what, she's using all that as excuse. But I just feel like they used to just, people just are always intrigued by stuff that's different. And I've always felt like I was different. Even in high school, I would do a lot of different things than the norm. And I think that people have this weird, like, they don't understand it, and they're not it. And the girls that get it gets it. They usually aren't the girls that get it, if that makes sense. So now, where was I? So I was just like, I can't believe that he's like saying stuff like that. Don't listen to him. He's a bozo. He's a beach ass nigga. You should have been left him. I can't even believe that you lasted this long. And guys, this is the bomb drop. Me and her rekindled. She started giving me the tea. Why this man? Why? Remember I told you she needed me down there to help, right? So she ended up hiring an in-house nanny after she had the second baby. And she had to go, she started going back to work. She got a job full time. Why this man ended up having a baby with the in-house nanny, put her up in her own separate apartment, and still lives at home with Goldie Waistman. So Wasteman has 2 households. So this all happened after the essay. Well, the attempted essay. Because they didn't get to assault me, but the attempted essay, right? And I'm just like, I told you to leave that man. Like, you wouldn't even be in this position if you would have left then. And the fact that you're still here, you're broken. You're more broken than he has broken you. Whatever you're going through is internal at this point. It's out of anyone's hands but your own. I just told her, like, I don't know how you stayed. Everybody can say it can never be me, but until you're in those positions, it can be you. That could be me too. I've been in fucked up positions too. So that was going on with her, right? So she's like, you know what? She don't even care. After he ended up having the baby on her with the in-house nanny and putting her up and stuff like that, she started dating again or whatever. So I'm like, okay, well, you haven't dated in a while, so I hope you have bad choice in men, so I hope you doing better this time, y'all. Of course the fuck not. She started talking to me about me in a group chat. Well, our mutual friend already knew about this guy. She met him and everything. I never met him. She started talking to me about this new guy she's talking to, whatever. Apparently, they're the same age, but she's sugar mama-ing him. Like, you have kids at home and a husband, and you're taking care of this man because I guess he was, like, cute, and he used to work out, and, you know, he's one of those buff, like, I look sexy, type of men. And like I said, she had poor choice in men, and I was never, ever enamored, like, or like look twice at, not that I never would look at my friend's man. I think I looked at my friend's man like once. I was younger though, sorry, but growing up, no. And they were nothing to look at, her choices, right? So I'm like, okay, you know, as long as he make you happy, he giving you good D and whatever, you want to take care of him, whatever. I just feel like you should be pouring into yourself and your kids right now, but I haven't even been your friend for some years, so that's the last thing I'm going to do is try to give you advice on your decisions, your relationship, your situation, anything, right? So she's like, yeah, you know, I would love for you to meet him, come out with us one time. I didn't understand why she kept pushing for me to meet this new man of hers. Man, sugar baby, whatever. He was the sugar baby, not her. And that's what I didn't understand. Like, girl, you're pretty, and then she was very petite and everything. Like, why are you sugar baby and some big ass muscular man who can do for himself? She just didn't know how to get to the bed. She didn't know how to get money spent on her. Like, I mastered that. My daddy used to spoil me, so I knew how to get a man to spoil me. My daddy used to spoil me, so may God rest his beautiful soul. But so one day, right, I'm on Instagram and I see this guy spamming the fuck out of my Instagram page, liking on my posts, commenting and stuff like that. Right now you can't comment on my posts no more. Too much weirdos, too much stuff happened. I don't give people the liberty. The only people that comment on my posts is people I follow. So this guy's commenting on my posts. At that time I didn't have that feature on, so anybody could comment. I didn't know him nowhere, so when I check his page, I see the only mutual friend he has with me is Goldie. So I hit up Goldie, like, you know this person? She's like, oh yeah, that's my boo's best friend. I was telling him about you, and you know, he wants to meet you. He thinks you're pretty, blah blah blah. I wasn't flattered. For one, I was in a relationship. Although my relationship was rocky at the time, I wasn't interested in dating. I was still trying to work out what I had going on. You know what I'm saying? With Trini. Remember Trini from the Brothers video? Yes, I was with Trini at the time. And me and Trini was like having our moments, but we were still together. So the fact that, and then Trini, oh, he a buster. I'm going to tell you one thing Trini said about this situation. He a buster ass. Buster. You a buster, Trini. But anyways, I promise y'all, it's probably like 10 more minutes of this video. I'm like, why are you giving my Instagram to random guys I don't know? Oh, he's not random, he's a detective. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should want to date a detective or blah. Girl, you shouldn't be telling me who I should want to date. you don't have no good choices in men. It's crazy that the best friend is a detective and the motherfucking one you're dating is a bouncer who you're taking care of. Ironic. You don't have the best choices, but whatever. So I just didn't like that. And I felt like she had a habit of doing that. That was the first time a guy came and was commenting and spamming my page. But during the course of us rekindling our friendship, she would always just try to put men on me, whether it was her relative, her friend from work. Oh, I got this guy for you. And what I didn't understand was what was written on my face that was given desperate, that was given I need a man, that was given find me a man. Like, I just didn't get why she was always trying to put some type of man in my face. Like, was it giving prostitute? Like, what was I giving that was making you so comfortable? And then we had mutual friends that was in the group chats with us, and you would come in a group chat and be like, hey Sarah, this guy blah blah blah. You wouldn't address anybody else. And I remember one day I asked her that. I said, why do you always have guys and you're always trying to shove some guy down my face or whatever? She's like, oh well, because you're the hot girl of the group, you know, like, no offense to everybody else, but you're the hot girl. So when guys ask me if I have friends, I automatically show you, but I'm not available, and I'm not telling you that I want you to play matchmaker in my life. So can you stop invading my space and my privacy in that way? And you're just giving men my Instagram, although my shit is public, but you're giving them access to me, to pawn over me, to just different stuff. I didn't like it at all. I didn't. You know what I'm saying? So the guy keeps writing me, the detective guy keeps writing me, asking me out on dates. She's begging me, like, please just come out on a double date with us. It's just pressure from both sides. I don't even know this man. I don't even know this man, right? The detective. I don't know the detective or the man that she's dating. So one day, against my better judgment, I give in. I don't think me and Trini was together at the time anymore. I give in. I go on this double date with them. We on a double date. I meet her boo and I meet the detective for the first time. Both them ninjas in my face. Both of them ninjas in my face. It was very uncomfortable. Because number one, you came out to see her. Number two, you don't even know me. Why are you in my... It was annoying, and I hate... And it's like, a lot of people think I like attention, but I don't. I'm a Capricorn. I hate when people's in my face. I hate when people's in my space. We are loners to the core. I thrive in solitude. I thrive protecting my energy. I thrive in those areas. So I'm just like, I don't even want to be here right now. And that's the thing I had to stop doing. Stop saying yes to things that I want to say no to, and just say no. That is going to change the course of your life for the better each and every time. So I'm on this little double date with them. Lo and behold, what comes up? A conversation about an orgy. A sexual conversation. Them trying, I could tell already they were trying to get my point of view on the matter. And it was weird because when I got to the restaurant, the three of them was already there, which just makes me feel like they were having their own conversations about me, and then I walked in last or whatever. But they were trying to have conversations about like just sexual experiences and like whatever, so they can, I felt like it was trying to throw a rock in there, trying to see where it lands type of thing. I wasn't jacking it. So when they actually came out, it was actually Goldie's boo who came out and was like, yeah, wouldn't it be fun if we all four, you know, went back to my house and did this, that, and the third together? I'm like, no, it wouldn't. What do you mean it would be fun? I don't even know you and I don't know you. Why would that be fun? Why do you see me, you feel like you could just have me? What's that about? Like, what's really that about? And Goldie, you co-signing this? So I started getting spicy. Goldie boo started getting spicy right back for me. It's deja vu all over again. I feel dumb. I feel stupid. I feel like an imbecile. Because here I am in a position where I felt sorry for a woman who was supposed to be my best friend, who's supposed to have my best interest at heart, who's supposed to be protecting me, who knows what I'm going through in my own personal life, my own personal relationship. And you're just, when you threw a guy in my face and on my body the first time, who was your husband, I forgave you and felt like you had clouded judgment due to your situation. Now we're 5 years down the line and you have another man disrespecting me over my punani yani yani, my good ass punani yani yani. The motherfucking nerve. The way I want to curse right now. I felt flabbergasted. It was completely absurd. I could not fathom what was happening to me at that time. It felt like deja vu all over again. I go off. And that's what I don't like about myself, because I'll let things build up and I'll act like I don't feel a way about it, and then boom, something triggers me and I'm going off. Because the way I reacted, I probably OD'd. I'm gonna take accountability. I probably really like took it there, but it's because of the trauma. It's because I had already dealt with a situation like this with Goldie. So the detective and his friend Goldie Boo, they're probably looking at me like, this crazy wench, this crazy ass. But they don't know where that anger and that frustration was fueling from. And I said my two pieces. I told Goldie she don't ever gotta say nothing to me again. It's like her for life. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what she thinks she is. She thinks she my pimp. I don't know what she thinks this type of thing is given, or the case may be. So she was upset at the way I moved. She was upset the way I spazzed out on them because she was embarrassed. So Goldie and I never spoke after that. I think it's been about going on 2 years since this happened, and I kind of like told myself, like, you know what, after that happened, I was like, I need to have people in my life who love and respect me enough to accept how I feel, accept who I am, not judge me, not berate me, not violate my motherfucking like wishes and just my body. And I was like, why am I saying that I'm losing a best friend if this girl Goldie was none of those things? And that's what I would want in a best friend. And longevity has nothing to do with anything. I feel like a lot of people feel like, oh well, we've been friends since high school, we've been friends since junior high, so I'm gonna hold on to that friendship. No, I was holding on to Goldie for longevity because I felt like I was meeting a lot of new women who were like walling me up, like they were violating me, like, and I was like, I need to go back to some people who knew me before I started doing what I do now, people who don't want to take advantage of me. And it didn't matter where I was being taken advantage of. That's why I feel like I really gotta protect myself, and I'm very in my self-preservation mode era, because I can't give anyone or anything the benefit of the doubt. Because everywhere I've turned for a very long time, people have tried to take advantage of me in one way or another and make me feel like, how dare I feel a way about it? How dare I protect myself? How dare I love myself enough to say, hell no. So there was nothing funny about this situation. The advice I want to give to the young woman watching this video right now is never be afraid to say no or check somebody and put them in their place and set your boundaries. You don't have to be violent. You don't have to be rude. You don't have to be disrespectful about it, even though I do like to take those routes because I like to show people like don't play with me. But that takes a lot of energy out of you. 9 times out of 10, every time I've ever went off on somebody or wanted to get down and busy, I was so drained after that. Walk away. You see red flags, you see people disrespecting your boundaries, exit stage left. Exiting stage left has saved me and saved my journey in my adult years, and I wish I would have started doing that years ago, a long time ago. Because these people are gonna do what's in the best interest of them at all times, and you should be doing that at all times. You shouldn't be bending any rules. Somebody violates, somebody assaults you, you call the cops. You pay tax, pay your dollars. That's what they're there for. Someone is not respecting your boundaries, someone's mistreating you, you cut them off. You don't let things happen. I felt like the second situation with the detective and the friend, I had to take accountability. I let that happen. Because after what happened in North Carolina, I should have never been caught dead with her and males of her, like her male friends and counterparts. I should never been caught dead around her and those people. And like I said, she was trying to always pin me with like her relatives, like her cousin, her this, her that. Like I don't know what she thought of me, but I didn't like it. And I wasn't jacking it. So that is the story of how I lost my best friend of 15 plus years. If you guys had similar stories of ever being in a situation where you felt SA'd, sexually assaulted, drop it down in the comments if you wish, or DM me. Like I said, like DM me, like send me a message, whatever. I'll support you guys. Like I'll give you guys all the articles and articles and YouTube videos and threads I've been on, just helping you cope with stuff like that, like tools and resources. You know what I'm saying? I'm still healing, so we can heal together type of thing. Like this stuff has to be taken serious, and especially us as Black women, our trauma is never taken serious, and we have been sexualized for a very long time in the history of like the history. You know what I'm saying? Like we've been treated as just sexual objects for a long time. Like that woman, I don't recall her name, but there was this woman who was like very big and bodacious. I'm gonna find her picture and info and put it right here. And back in the 1800s, I think, or I'll put the information here, because she had big bust, naturally big breasts, naturally big butt and legs and thighs, she was used as a human sex trafficking showcasing display for the white folks. Like they were literally taking her all over the world and allowing her to be put on display and sexually abused because of Black women having natural like bodacious bodies and stuff like that. You guys know I have a bodacious body and stuff, so it's just unfortunate. I remember telling Trini about what happened. I was like, yeah, you know, I was dealing with my friend, this is what she did, blah blah blah. You know the first thing he said to me? He was like, you sure you wasn't into it? Because why would they have that idea if you didn't give them that idea? Yes, he said that to me. I wasn't surprised because I remember one time we were in Virginia and sidebar, and I was walking and I had on tights, but I always wore tights. And these guys, they like started like hissing and honking at me, and I was walking side by side with Trini, and he was so angry. They just kind of drove by and did it. And he started punching the walls and punching the cars and telling me like, oh, if I didn't wear them tights, then that would have never happened and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, we in a gun state. Like, we all got weapons. If you felt disrespected, why you didn't just bust guns? Like, why you just put out the Uzi? Like, why you attacking me? Why you mad at me? Because of what they did. When I always wear tights. I'm having on tights right now. I don't like wearing jeans and stuff like that. It's not comfortable. I wear tights. I'm a tights girl. He knows that, so it's just victim blaming, victim shaming, and remember, Wasteman victim shamed me too. He tried to sexually assault me and then tried to call me all types of inappropriate names to validate why he was able to do such action. So y'all, let me know how y'all feel about this story time. Let me know what y'all think about my choices and my actions. What would y'all have done? Would y'all have went 6:30 crazy? No, 7:30 is crazy. 7:30 crazy. Would y'all have stayed friends with Goldie and forgave her? Like, tell me y'all insight, because sometimes I be feeling like I make the wrong decisions, and sometimes I be wanting a point of view. Even though you guys are not walking in my shoes, you might be walking in similar shoes, and I be wanting a point of view of other people so that I can see, like, am I like really thinking about my choices, my actions, my decisions, how it affect me, etc. I just be wanting and needing insight. So drop them down in the comments. I do have more story times loading, and you guys know how I like to end up my stories all the time. Well, not just my stories, any video that I'm doing. If you're not going to do anything else, nothing else, you could call the cops when somebody assaults you. But outside of that, if you're not going to do anything else, y'all, make sure you flower and water your plant. Pour into yourself at all times. Choose you. Set boundaries. And protect yourself. Be in self-preservation mode. We have always been in self-preservation mode. And even more now than ever. With all this fake freedom we got in America with 3Ks. See you. Peace out. About to get my nails did. Bye.